It means a lot. It means a lot to our fans, and it means a lot to the organization. But right now, I looked at today's game as a very big game for us with the loss of David. I wanted to see how the guys came out. They came out this afternoon ready to go, ready for practice, and David was there right behind him. So I thought it was a good game for us, and it's a great start in our homestand, and we just got to continue it.
You said you wanted to see how they responded with the loss of David. How do you think tonight was different than it may have been a couple of years ago?
Well, I'm not sure, Steve. That is a very good question, but there was still a lot of energy. Maybe the fact that we've been playing pretty good that might have helped, but just the guys seemed like, hey, look, it's just another day, and. Obviously, I thought Travis did a great job. Everybody's wondering who you can hit in David's spot, who you can hit in David's spot, and Travis went in there and did a great job in that role. And again, it goes to show you we get some guys on, and we score some runs. And tonight, John Neese gave us a very good game. I was very happy for Alex Torres to come out and finally get himself in some rhythm. So it was a good game, and we've got to continue to play well at home.
Baseball, it's such a long season, and when you have an emotional night like you had last night with so many things going on, and then to have a performance like this, what does that illustrate about what's inside your clubhouse?
Well, again, we worked very hard to get our clubhouse the way it is, and those veteran guys in there to keep everybody's mind on the subject, which is winning baseball games, and not who's playing, who's not, who's here, who's not. And I think that was done today. I saw, and it was done last night. I mean, even by David himself. Hey, look, we got to keep playing, whether I'm in the lineup or not, and that was a legitimate point. And today you saw some execution. The execution side was very good. I mean, guys gave themselves up for the team, and therefore we scored some runs.
No disrespect to the Phillies, obviously, because they're a big league team, but they're a team that wasn't projected to do great things this year. How much do you have to sort of beat up on those teams, knowing you're not going to sweep the Nationals very often this season? You're not going to sweep some of the better teams.
Well, Tony, I consider, as you know, everybody that's takes the field every night is a big league baseball team and can beat you. I mean, these guys got off to a very good start, 3-3, and they came in here. They were pitching pretty good. Their pitchers were pitching very well. One of the things that helped a lot was, Ryan's not swinging like he can, but certainly we got to get through Utley. A couple other guys had some big nights against us, but what you've got to do is the teams that are going through a rough spell, let's say, you got to get them. You got to beat those teams, and because we're going to go through some tough times too, and the same people are going to be saying that about us when we get on one of those slumps. But we've got Miami coming in tomorrow, who has played well the last couple nights and got off to a slow start, but the team that everybody says better than us. So we got a challenge ahead of us.
Jerry, I know though you want to play without David as little as possible, but how much does the way Lucas is swinging the bat right now in the middle of the lineup help soften that a bit?
Well, it helps solve it for me, Ed, because the two guys behind him. They can't, with Michael Kadire and Dan Murphy hitting behind him. They got to give him something to hit. And I think one of the things we've seen in the last few days with Lucas is he's patient enough to get some better pitches to swing at, and when he's getting them, he's putting some good swings on the ball. So I think that's a big help to him. I do believe Lucas Duda's makeup has changed in the last couple of years. He knows that he belongs here and he can hit and produce big numbers here. So what we got to get him to do is stay confident, stay upbeat, and get some guys on ahead of him.
Before the game, you mentioned how Juan was getting himself out at the plate. How encouraging is it to see him get 2 big hits tonight? Very encouraging.
I'm going to go right back to what I said early in spring training. If this guy becomes the player that he's capable of becoming, he is going to be a star for a long time. And yeah, a lot of people, you wish it could happen overnight. It doesn't. It's a process to get better, and he works very, very hard at it. He and Kevin were out doing some stuff. He and Pat did some stuff today, and when he gets better pitches to hit, he puts good swings on them and he does damage. So we're all confident that Juan, at the end of the season, through 162, Juan Lagares is going to have some good numbers.
When you think about the last 9 months of Travis d'Arnaud and going down to the minors and taking that as an opportunity, and then what he's done and how he started, I mean, how does that make you feel as someone who's always believed in him, Terry?
Well, I will tell you, I think one thing that helped Travis in the second half is he figured out, and I'm going to give him all the credit, he figured out what he has to do to have success here. And one of the things is to be aggressive early. And we've seen what he can do when he is. Now, that you got to coincide that with making sure, the pitch selection's pretty good, but he's after the second half last year, I think he has confidence in his own ability, which he should have never doubted it, because everybody you ever talked to said he's going to hit, and he's shown that.
He's kind of danced in and out of trouble all night. I think he stranded 8 runners. What'd you see from him in those big spots with guys on base?
Well, John Neese, that's the thing about John. When he never got too upset about anything tonight. He thought he made some pretty good pitches. Matter of fact, they got a couple hits on some balls I thought were good pitches, and he knew how to get in. He knows how to get outs when he needs them. And one thing that saves him is he doesn't try to overthrow. He stays with himself, but he has enough stuff that if he needs a strikeout here and there, he can get it. But he gets ground balls, and that's when you keep the ball in the ballpark. And you'll see when we get when things go tough for us is when we give up home runs. When we keep the ball in the park, we win games.
Terry, before the game, when asked about Wright being out, Sandy said the team will respond well to this. He didn't say let's see how they respond, but he said the team will respond well to it. What is it, do you think, about the makeup of the team this year? Are the younger kids older now, more experienced? Is it the addition of some of the veterans there now? I mean, why do you think you're confident that these guys can sustain it?
Well, I think it's a combination of all of it, Dave. I think the fact that you've got a couple other older guys in there, and as I've said so many times, we're not young. We're not that young anymore. We got some young players here. I will grant that, but in the we've got guys now with 3, 4, 5 years experience. I consider those guys veterans. You in this league 3 or 4 years, you better have figured it out a little bit. And then it's time to pick your game up. And I think that's helped a little bit. And in the fact that some of the veterans in there aren't going to let them get down, because they know that they keep telling them, hey, look, we're good enough to do this with or without David Wright. It's nice to have him in there, and we're going to need him in there when it gets hot. But right now, here's some opportunity for some guys to show they belong in the big leagues. And you either grab that opportunity or you find somebody else.